Well, hello and welcome. I'm Sue Britz,
And I'm Tina Lokkbakk. Welcome to Retired,
the podcast where we talk about what life is like when we put on new tread, new wheels that move us to our next adventure. And I'm handing the mic right over to you, Tina.
Thanks.
All the way across the pond, all the way to Norway. All right. Take it, girl.
Part of a poem I'd like to read to you and see if you can just figure it out, who it comes from. And what it all comes down to is that I haven't got it figured out just yet, because I've got one hand in my pocket and the other one is giving a peace sign. I'm free, but I'm focused. I'm green, but I'm wise. I'm hard, but I'm friendly, baby. I'm sad, but I'm laughing. I'm brave, but I'm chicken shit. I'm sick, but I'm pretty, baby. That's an excerpt from the poem.
Alanis Morissette?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. You had me scared there. Okay, well, we were just commenting before we started. You are there. It's evening time. You've had your day. You've got yourself all pulled together. I'm just starting my day. And I was afraid there for a second that I wasn't going to, that you're putting me on the spot. But, I'm okay with that. Put me on the spot.
So
I'm glad you didn't sing it, though.
Hey, gentle. Gentle. Or you shouldn't be my next career on retirement.
Yeah, I'm not a singer either, so no worries.
I know. So this part of my retirement journey is figuring out, what is my purpose in this next chapter of life. And so I wanted to play this thing that I got from a TEDx that I had listened to from a guy named Adam Leipzig. And he was basically at a party with all these graduates from Harvard. And 80% of them that he talked to were very unsatisfied with their lives. They're midlife, they have great careers, they have 2 homes, they have it all. But 80% that he talked to were unhappy, and only 20% were happy. So he said, you can figure out your life's purpose and have this happiness in 5 questions. So I wanted to ask you these 5 questions.
Okay.
So first question is, who are you?
That's another song. Who are you? Who?
Who? Number 2, what do you do? Like, what do you
we've had conversations about this a lot. People talk about what you do is who you are and all that, it's like, it's so interesting having that conversation or that thought when you're in your 20s as compared to now. And, I've had that thought. Who are you? Are you what you do? And who are you? I can tell you all the things I am. And you're supposed to come down to just like a word or two. It's ridiculous.
Yes. So if you can limit it, that would be best. But more importantly, what do you love to do? Are you ready for number 3?
Sure.
Who do you do it for?
Uh-huh.
What are those people's wants and needs, those that you are doing it for?
Yep.
And the last one, how are they going to change as a result of doing what you do?
How are they going to change?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So perhaps now we'll both share our answers.
All right. Well, this could go on for a few hours, I'm thinking.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, then it does. You're the best editor I know.
Who are you, Tina?
Tina, who are you, Sue?
Oh, you're just pushing it back on me? You're not going to answer first?
Yeah. Well, no, I just put Tina.
What?
Yeah, I did.
I'm confused. Oh, you're Tina. That's what you're
Yes.
saying. Your answer is you're Tina.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, what did you put?
Okay. I am all the things that I am. I didn't write things down because it would take too long. I am all the things that I am, and oftentimes my name isn't even, I don't relate to my name so much as the feeling of
Mm.
who I am inside. So it's not even like Sue, because that's not enough. It's just, yeah. I was talking to my sister yesterday, and because she was visiting my mom who's in memory care, and she asked my mom, what did you used to call me when I was a little girl?" And she thought she might remember the nickname my mom had for her, but said Susie because she was mistaking my sister with me. And I was just laughing because it's a joke between the two of us because I get credit for going to visit my mom every week because she calls her Sue or
Oh,
Susie.
true.
So yeah, I used to be Susie, and then the transition where I claimed my name, I wanted to be Sue, and so we had that conversation. It was interesting, but yeah, no, I can't be just a name. I'm so much more, and I'm also just like nothing too. It's. I feel like I know my place in the world and the context, and the world inside my head is 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 who I am.
I'm going to go into my name a little deeper now that you've mentioned this. So, I did not change my name officially when I got divorced. So, I have kept it and I consider myself all the things. So, really, I should say I'm Tina von Rees Lookbakk Baston because I am all those things. And that's kind of how you started off this thing. I am all the things that I am. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Yeah. But I want to be kind of share like about this and just say, I'm Tina.
Yeah, it's like, well, I can be accused of oversharing too, so, what's that about? No,
Okay.
it is
Yeah,
interesting too asking that question when you are a young person and now, and yet I think I was born an old soul because I would have answered the same way back then. I just didn't know all the things that I was yet, and I still don't know because I still got more to go.
we do. Okay. So what do you do? In other words, what do you love to do?
I think this is the question that people ask at like a party or when you're meeting something. Oh, what do you do? And they're asking you about your job. And so, of
Mhm.
course, I am retired. But that question kind of bothered me all the way through. And it was people say, I'm a teacher. Well, again, I'm a lot more than that, and I don't feel like I'm a teacher anymore. I mean, there's always going to be a teacher part of me inside me, but that's not my job. And I'm not living in that space, that headspace that I used to, which is an interesting thing. I think I've shared here before that I prepared to retire when I started working, knowing that at some point I'm not going to be doing that job anymore. And I've never like defined myself by my job only. Someone I would answer the question, what do you do? "Oh, I'm a teacher," and but inside my head I'm like, and I'm also da 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 da. So, what do you do? I do all the things that I want, and now retired, I do whatever I want whenever I want to do it. So, what do I do? Whatever I want.
Ooh,
That's
ooh,
so
that's
that's
good.
freedom giving. That's so much freedom. Whatever draws me, whatever pulls me. What do you do, Tina?
Well, this was kind of a thing where you blurted out, right? So what comes to your mind first? Because I
Oh,
could list a million and one things.
yeah.
What do I really like to do? And I could list a million, but you have to narrow it down to two or one word. And so,
Oh, I didn't know this was the rule.
yeah, well, no, it isn't. But he goes, when I watch this TED talk, he goes back and revisits it. So now I'm going to ask you specifically, narrowing it down, but I wanted to see what came up first. But number two is, what is the one thing you feel extremely qualified to do to teach other people? And that helps narrow it down, doesn't it? Out of
Yeah.
the list of a million things you love to do. So I'm going to say it one more time. What is the one thing you feel extremely qualified to do that you could teach other people?
I'm a teacher then.
So am I. I had a feeling you'd come
Because you
up with
know
that.
what? When you're teaching, and I love teaching the age of kids that we taught because they're still children and yet they're on the cusp of this being who they are, that independence and stuff. And you taught a lot more than all the curriculum, which I loved. I loved coming into my own teaching math and really being able to figure out a way to communicate it with kids and hopefully help them see it and not be afraid of it. I love teaching writing and telling a story and, looking at alternative endings or plot twists or whatever, along with vocabulary or whatever else it might be. I love teaching PE and talking about
Ugh.
slowing it down and feeling your muscles inside you and what you're doing and that or making up games and seeing what worked and what didn't work and having fun with kids. I liked I like doing all the art projects, of course, because that synthesizes everything. But history, social sciences, that was my passion that kind of pulled everything together. I love teaching the big picture and all the little stuff that goes along with it, teaching how to capacitate yourself and believe in yourself and develop interest in different parts of life. I loved all of that. So it wasn't just the curriculum, it was the whole package.
Okay. And I'm like smiling and squealing and moving in my chair because you just said it exactly. So I just want to say to anybody listening right now, our listeners, same answer. Ditto, Sue. Ditto.
Yeah, that's why we had so much fun together when we taught. It was
And I
sacred. It
went
was
on. It
sacred.
was sacred, but we made it sacred.
But that's what teaching should be. When you're entrusting kids, with their, it's not childcare. It's not taking care of them so their parents can work. It's about educating a kid, the whole kid, and um, it's an impossible job, but the one that that resonates deeply for teachers, true teachers, because most of us who stay in the profession, we're teachers, is that sacredness of what you are delivering to a child, what opportunities you're presenting them, what knowledge you're offering, what doors you might be opening. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. I love you. All right. Number three. Um, so this was an easy answer, right? Who do you do it for?
Hmm.
The teaching.
Okay, so one answer, one word:
Mhm.
societal norms.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, that's what I was raised for. So who do you do it for? Well,
Yeah. Who do you
it's
do this love of teaching for?
oh, you just the love of teaching.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant all the things that I do. See, I'm not understanding your questions yet. All right. So, my initial answer was you're raised in a family, you're following societal norms, you got your religion, God, and then the gender norms and all that. So, I see a pattern through my whole life where I was a dutiful, responsible, I am a dutiful, responsible person. And so you do it for everyone but yourself. And
Oh.
underneath it all, there is yourself, and your little self is trying to pop out and try to exert itself. And it may bend this way a little bit, and you might get some of that, but you're doing it for everyone else. And then you get married, and you do it for that person, and then you have a child, and you do it for the child. You do it for everyone else, and underneath that is a component. You're there, but it's for everyone else until you get to be retired, where you slow down and it's supposed to be a focus more on you, on yourselves. And all along questioning all that and all along taking responsibility for accepting that. I'm making choices to accept the dogma and the societal norms. How much do you want to push back and or resist? And so we're making choices all along the way. It's sadly for everyone else. And you find a little piece of yourself in there. And hopefully you do it for you. And it feeds your soul, but you don't have to share that with anybody. It's just inside you.
So I have to say that was an excellent answer, and there's a lot of truth to it. I was thinking basic, like since the thing we ended up picking was teaching, I just put who would I do it for? Kids.
Hmm.
And as I'm also trying to think of my future employment and what it's going to be, and if the Cuba tours all work out, it's also for adults. So, in some ways, what you just said is you're right, it's for everybody else. But it also fills our souls too, or we wouldn't love it.
Right. And it's interesting because that trek to finding to loving it, for me, I mean, I didn't choose to be a teacher. I, in fact, rejected the idea of being a
Yeah,
teacher.
we
It kind of
both did.
made me sick to be a teacher because it's about following these societal norms and, doing what women are supposed to do, which is a secretary, a teacher, or a nurse, and that was what you did. And in, along the way, you got to find stuff that feeds your soul. And I say you do. Then you'd say children. I'd say for the child and myself, kind of like to. I'm feeding my. You're serving the children, but it's the child in yourself that you're serving, and allowing them to flourish and do all the things. So that's what I would say.
Okay, so what do those people want or need so you can give them this thing that you do, which is teach?
Oh, so you're talking in the context of not life, but of this profession, this thing that you chose.
Well, actually, I think that you're answering these things from a vantage point of retirement. And so this is kind of excellent. I'm being specific to teaching, but you're actually applying it in a bigger area or in a new area in this chapter of your life. So I think there's no wrong answer here. I think that was excellent.
Well, it's interesting because but my thoughts of this have always kind of always gone on. I've always thought about these things, but I'm at a place where I can, with real life experience, you have more to say about it. But if you're asking
What do
what
these
are their wants and needs with this? So, like,
correct?
for example, right now I'm doing this podcasting. I'm hoping that people are listening, and their wants and needs would be a little bit of entertainment, a feeling seen, validated, trying to, figure out their own place in being retired. So it's kind of like the same thing with students. The kids are there, they have to, well, it's very different than podcasting. The kids have to be there. And
Right.
so, what their wants and needs really vary depending on what's going on in their lives. But you would hope that they want to be around other people, understand and learn and grow. And that's what, kind of relates back to podcast too. We want to learn and grow. That's why we're doing this. And we want to, have those conversations with people too.
And don't we both in this situation with the podcast, we want people to learn, to
Yes,
grow from our opinions, our thoughts, and then leave them with the openness of finding their opinions and thoughts.
right. To get that
Yeah.
validation. Yeah.
So the reality is we are indirectly teaching and they're indirectly wanting to learn or they wouldn't be listening.
Hopefully it's entertaining too.
Yeah, okay. All right, number 5. So my answer was simply to learn in one word.
Yeah,
So
I would say learn and grow because and that's
I
again,
like the and
that's a
grow. I think
principle
that's
thing.
true.
You sometimes hearing other people talk about stuff, like with this podcast, is different than, educating a child, but they hear stuff that resonates with their own life and they go, oh, and
Light bulb.
it's like, yeah. And it's like, for me, I find this too. This happens all the time where you hear someone else say it and then you hear it differently. It may be thoughts that you saw, that you had, or things that you've experienced, but someone else saying it in a different context at the right moment, they it comes across differently. It hits you differently. So maybe that's what I'm hoping, because I don't pretend to like teach anyone based from this podcast. It's more about retrieving common wisdom and pulling it out of ourselves and seeing it ourselves and providing an opportunity for people to do the same.
Excellent. Question 5. How do they change or transform
Wasn't that
as a
already answer?
result?
Didn't you already say that? Learn and
No,
grow.
no. That's what people want.
Oh, okay.
But but and I put to learn. So, as a result of the learning, how do they change or transform as a result because of what you gave them?
Yeah, they grow. So learn and grow.
Okay, so, and I answered confidence.
Excellent.
Now,
Embracing it, fully, yeah. Taking
so
those
what you,
thoughts and ideas that they
yes.
figured out and embracing it. Yeah, with confidence. Nice.
So, and that ties in with the grow, and I totally know that's exactly what we're talking about. Um, so then he gave this extra credit question. Okay, so that is your life's purpose, to teach, ultimately. And I'm kind of surprised that I came up with teach is the first thing that came out. But I think he had to word it in such a way where what is the one quality or the one skill that you've really learned that you think you could give to somebody else, and that is the teaching. But until then, it was harder for me to answer. But here we go. Here's your extra credit.
Oh, hang on. So this thing of that's your life's purpose. I think it's we have to, when you say what is the one thing you could teach or do, then and that's your life's purpose. It might depend on where you are in your life, what your answer might be. But
True.
it's like, I think a lot of filters come over us where we're like, okay, well, what can I make a living with? Which is different. Making money, it's a
Oh,
profession. And life's purpose may be very different, so it depends
wow.
on the
Yes, that's
context.
true.
It's the context you're asking the questions in too, and the place the person is in their life. Because, um, this is what do you do? So I didn't know, I didn't understand that these are quick questions, and just to kind of like shake your mind up or whatever. I was going like, these are deep philosophical questions, each one of them, and it makes you question all the things. But um, the the thing then to saying my heart's content is to teach. Maybe it may, I don't know, maybe it is. I kind of resist that. Yeah, I kind of resist that. But I've already done it, so there we go.
So I'm going to do a plug. I should really contact the man, but this is the book I keep telling you you've got to read, Sue.
The
This man is
laws of
amazing.
human nature.
Yes, and he's kind of had a resurgence. He actually wrote this a while ago, and now he's kind of coming back virally, and he hasn't like new ones that are out that have to do with it. Like it's the 48 laws of power is the thing, but I wanted to go into human nature. But the point is, last few nights as I've been studying for years now, what is my life's purpose? What do I want to do with my life now that I'm divorced and now that my kids are grown? Those questions, and that's why I'm here. Like, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And as I'm reading this, he's now on my YouTube feed, and he's been talking about what is your life's purpose. And so the TED Talk popped up in my feed now next. But what he's saying, and see if this resounds, he keeps saying, and it's true, it's subtle. It's really think back into your childhood. It's like, it's not like we have to go out there and figure out what it is. It's more like going back into our little teeny selves when we were kids and we knew what we wanted to do before culture told us differently, before parents told us differently, before we had to tie making a living in it. You've always known kind of what you've been pulled to do. And so I ask you, Sue, and it took me a while, and I've been trying to go to sleep thinking this. What did I love doing as a kid that was so soulful, soul filling? Can you answer that? We're
Yeah.
deviating from the five
No,
questions.
it is interesting. I think it's a good question to go back to, because I never saw myself as sitting around being a teacher. Um, I
I
did.
didn't either.
I didn't sit around. So when other people didn't want to do things, I would offer to lead. I know leadership was definitely there. As a kid, I loved the ideas of, I loved a camera. I remember the first camera that I got. It was from, remember those green stamps they used to give? when you would go to the gas station, when gas was 24 cents a gallon or whatever, and they'd give you
There was
these,
a book.
yes, there's a book, and they give you green stamps. And at one point, I was allowed to take the green stamp books and go get my first camera. And I remember that was a big pivotal thing. I loved a camera. And um, so seeing the world, see, to me, I think everything comes back to seeing things. I see or experience the world, and I want to comment on it. I want to say something about it. I want to understand it. I want to try it. I remember being intrigued with the idea of being an anthropologist. I was intrigued with the idea of studying law. I was intrigued with all these things before um, when they said, "What did you want to do when you grow up?" Those were the things that I would answer, and it wasn't a teacher. Right away, I knew I didn't want to do a regular woman's job, and no one taught me this. My parents were not feminists or anything like this. They were very much people of their generation, but my mom always said, you need to have a job. I mean, they valued education, and you need to have a job because you don't know what will happen in life, and you need to be able to take care of yourself. And so that was understood from an early age. But the idea of being a teacher, no way. But it's interesting, and videography, photography, all that stuff kind of followed me all my life. So being an observer of life, that's what we're doing right now, is being an observer of ourselves and life and stuff. That's what seeing things, and then representing it in art or in teaching, and bringing it together so someone can understand it and can see it, can conceive of those things. That's my life's purpose.
That was, thank you. And the thing, wow. And I can say so much, even just you. So I thought of this saying, like, you're a lion. Somebody can take out all your teeth, but you're still a lion. And I was thinking as you were explaining, as we are on a podcast, you went into really taking pictures, not that this is, but it's still documenting. You're being heard, it's still being seen, it's
Yeah.
still showing up.
Yep.
And, it's just a different, it's auditory versus visual, but you haven't really changed.
No,
And
I
as you were
know.
saying with teaching, it's true. It's like we see the information and we're so excited about it that we want people to see it
Mm-hmm.
too.
Mm-hmm.
So I too, I will tell you, I was sitting in ninth grade algebra and there was a teacher there. He was relatively new, probably 30, and he had a nose like Ziggy, the cartoon. He was Ziggy. He was the human form of it. And I disliked him very much. And I sat behind this person and I thought to myself, I will never, ever be a teacher.
Yeah.
And isn't it funny that we both didn't want to be one, and yet we are one? And I don't quite understand that. We'll pick that up on another episode. And it was also interesting as I've been figuring out, why do I want to do this Cuba thing? What excites me? When I've talked about the supper club, it's about teaching. It's not that I want to do all those things. I want people to see and to
Mm-hmm.
experience
Yep.
what it means to be Cuban and what it means. It's the history, it's the richness of culture. That's what I want. So
Yes.
I actually realize that what I want is to teach.
Yep.
And so we both kind of in our own ways have just come back to the point. So maybe, I don't know, it's just funny that we ended up being teachers and then we didn't want to be,
Well,
but we are.
well, and so the thing is also, what is a teacher? I mean, you can say the word teacher, and if you're, a lot of people use that word for their religious person. It's their teacher. We think of teacher. I go right to a school teacher, and that's different. You don't call a professor a teacher, although they are teachers, you know.
Correct.
And so the word teacher, generally in our culture, is about a public school educator. Um, but teaching goes, you know, it's uh, it's
It's
through
more than
everything.
children's
It's through
public
everything. It's how
education.
we pass information from one person to the next. It's about experiencing life. That's what teaching is.
Okay, Let me ask you the bonus question again.
Bonus question.
Or I don't think I got
You're
it. You said
always
the
the
extra
teacher. Here
credit
we go.
question.
Pulling out the bonus question. All right.
Extra credit, of
Pop
course.
quiz. Okay.
Did you always do extra credit if possible?
It's interesting. That's a whole nother philosophical thing. Extra
Yes or no?
credit, sure, because some kids can't stop. It's not a way to make up for things. It's for kids to keep learning and growing.
Correct. So you did the extra credit problems when presented.
Oh, you mean when I was a kid, did I do extra
Yeah.
credit?
hmm
Well, yeah, because yeah.
I did too. So here we go. Here's your extra credit question.
I thought you meant as a teacher, did I offer it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and for me it was the same thing. To grow, to do a little bit more if you have that much more you want to say. Here we go. So what do you do when people ask you that question, like how in answer number 5 was how do they change or transform as a result because of what you gave them? And you said to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do so that they grow?
Engage.
How do you accomplish this?
You
How
engage
do you
them. You engage them in whatever it is that you're discussing. Engagement.
Okay, so then he said, turn this, and you might take a minute. So you might want to like pause while I fill up my glass of wine. Um, how do you engage people? And he said to look at it this way. This is your elevator pitch. If my mission or goal is to provide confidence in students when I teach, how do I do it? What is my elevator pitch? And so I want to know, how do you engage people and make it your elevator pitch? So he said, and I love the context he put it in. So pretend we're at this Harvard party with all these people because we were Harvard educated, right? Actually, you went to Purdue. I just got to throw it out there.
Well, Purdue's not Harvard. It's a public
No,
school.
but it's a big deal, isn't it? Purdue, that's one of those that's named and mentioned, and people know, like, ooh, Purdue. When you told me, I'm like, ooh, Purdue. That's a big deal. From a Californian raised by Norwegian immigrant parents, and I heard Purdue, I'm like, ooh, Purdue. So can we just take a moment and just like say, yeah, Purdue?
I did love my years at Purdue.
Thank you. All right, make your elevator pitch. I'm going to go get my wine.
Okay.
So, what is your elevator pitch? If
So,
I ask you, yeah,
okay, so my answer to this is you put me on the spot, and I don't,
I did.
typically in an elevator pitch, you would prepare it and have it down, and so I don't. And my pitch would be like, "How dare you require me to do a pitch?" But here goes. We're in the elevator. Push the button, and I'm stuck in here. This is my opportunity. The way to grow, the way to engage
Yeah,
people is by brainstorming, questioning, figuring out, sharing some interesting fact or history about something. But always, 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 you've got to include humor in it. It's got to be fun. And intrinsically in all of this is that you care. Ding, elevator opens. Bye.
heck, that was so good, Sue. And then you made me like realize what a learner I am. Because as we've had this talk and now with that answer, all I want to do is go back and listen to your answer and take notes because that was so exciting. What you just said to me was so exciting. It's like that is so much the point of engagement and teaching.
But
So
see, there was
thank
a
you.
there was a ground right away. I'm reflecting on it already because it's like you put me on in pressure. It's like so I'm feeling under pressure. I'm feeling this, but I'm also being honest and
Yes,
and and with you. So there's so many layers of what you're trying to communicate there, and that's what a teacher does. I mean, you communicate everything. You have to be on your toes at all times and have an answer for everything. And your answer might be, you know what, I don't know yet. Let me get back to you on that.
true. That's
And
very
and
true.
that's honesty too. So honesty is a big part of it too.
Well, that was excellent. And if you could send me a typewritten answer, because I'm going to write it down, like, yeah, that's exactly how you engage people. All right. This is what I ended up putting. I put two parts, and I liked my second one better. The first one I just said, because my thing was to give kids confidence. So I build kids' confidence so they can try new things with their skills and feel good about themselves. And then I thought, when he turned it into an elevator pitch, I thought, I create warm, friendly environments so kids can discover what makes them special and be proud of it. And when possible, by having fun.
Yep. Well, see, I think that whenever possible, I know where that's coming from. That's coming from the changing tide of education these days, where everything has to be so engaging and so much fun, rather than um, intrinsically learning things. I think that when the demand is for fun as the primary, there's a real problem there, because along the way, humor is fun. Playing with words is fun. Asking questions is fun. Those are the things that are fun. It doesn't have to be a show. It has to be an engagement with interesting, intriguing stuff that makes it fun. And having a little sense of humor along the way just makes it, and humor is like one of the highest things, because it makes connections to different understandings and depths of whatever it is you're teaching. So that's one of the higher levels of engaging with a topic, is adding a layer of humor to it, I would argue.
So I'm going to segue a little bit into how this kind of came up. And for years now, I've understood, I told you, I think I've said it on our podcast, was friluftsliv is a Norwegian, um, gosh, kind of a value of the country, which is free open air, which is go outside and be outside and enjoy nature. It's really a connection to nature. And the reason I moved home to my mountaintop is because I wanted to be surrounded by nature. So now I'm in not just a town, I'm in a country where that is like the value of the country, not just myself in this town. So I had heard years ago when I had come to visit that they have these outdoor preschools where they believe in teaching kids all about outdoor things. So, and you spend almost all your time outdoors. And the other day we were driving by and it said Friluftsliv Barnehage, which is a preschool. And preschool for them is between ages 1 and 6. So they don't have kindergarten. That's part of it. And I looked, and so I ended up researching. And here they take kids and they take them outside and learn how to fish. They go on field trips. They have to play outside. It was one of the things that they believe in. You get to climb trees. That they get to do a lot of their learning and playing outside, just figuring it out. And I remember working at our school, and it would really hurt me because the kids naturally want to take sticks and build them and make little like fairy forts and things. And we always had to say, no, you can't climb the tree, and no, you can't use the sticks and bring them in, and no, you can't use them as swords and pretend to fight. You have to use the plastic play structure, and you have to follow the rules, and you aren't allowed to run, and you can't close your eyes, and you can't make creative games. And I even explored once for my kids, like I believe in the Waldorf concept because they too can make forts during recess. They take care of chickens on their, playground area. So all of those things are values. And I think that's my part of as we're talking about retirement, is connecting my values to what it is I'm going to do next. So I had this vision, and I don't know if you could see it when you were teaching and if you felt it. But for me, I remember driving and I'm seeing this mama duck, and she's crossing the road, and it was where we lived, right? You and I. And here are all these little baby ducklings, and we're all just stopped, and the cars are lining up on both sides, and we're allowing this duck to go across the freeway, or freeway highway. And I always thought to myself, that's how I feel as a teacher, is I feel like the duck, but I have on the teaching whistle, and my little duck self is standing there in the middle of the street, protecting my little ducklings, holding up my wing like it's going to do anything with my whistle as my little ducklings are going by. And this is like the pod of people, of humans that I get to be protecting for this year and nurturing and going on places. And so it was interesting that that vision came back to me when we drove by that school. I'm like, oh. I miss being that duck, and I miss having the whistle, and I miss watching them cross the street. And did you ever have like an image for teaching? Did you ever feel that in your leadership as a teacher?
No, okay, what occurred to me while I was listening to what you were saying
Yeah.
was how times have changed. And
Mm.
that vision is this really beautiful idealistic vision of what teaching is. And I think that I had more of that towards the beginning of my career. So we're talking,
Yes,
almost 40 years now, 35 years ago. And times have changed to the
yes, they
point
have.
where you've got so many kids with so many needs, with parents and families with so many needs. And that ability to do that, to have that idyllic vision of education is kind of gone. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that's the realistic fear and trepidation that you might have in
Hmm.
wanting to, embrace that in our cultural context of what, being an educator is. It's very different to go and do that because you are prohibited from this and that and this and this and and
Hmm.
then there's all these needs. And yeah, I think, yeah, I just felt sadness in that vision because
Because our
it's
school
not there anymore.
system has changed to the point that it has killed the whole purpose of why we went into it, or better, because we didn't go into it for this. I don't know how, we just did, but why we loved it. That the reasons that we loved it have slowly been dying. And I
Well,
don't think it's an age related thing, it's a system.
I it's our society. And I'm thinking if I were a newly graduated and I'm going to go be a teacher, if I had the similar path, it would be very hard to go and do that and thrive because there's so much in the system that
Ah,
is disempowers the
unthriving.
teacher, disempowers
Un-
them, and crushes their souls. So
yes, and hours
yeah,
at simultaneously.
that's what I'm saying. The
So
teacher's soul.
so
Yeah.
now I open it up to you, and I ask you if you could just go into a classroom of kids without the pressure of a standardized test in April, even though you're supposed to teach the curriculum to June, but we test in April. That's another story. But what if you could just go into a room and read all the read aloud books that you know would engage them and teach about history? If you could take them, if you love to go outside and teach them how to start a little fire and cook their food, or how to go fishing, how to grow a plant, how to hatch a chicken egg and raise this little chicken, how to observe little fish having little fish. This may be too basic, and I know that you're probably much more like you want to go deeper, but as I was thinking of the mama duck thing, it also brought me back to the parenting part that I loved before they started school. And I loved taking my girls on walks, and they would see all the little worms, the gutters. And then we talk about, well, why would those, worms be there? And then we would talk, and I would make them think. And then we would actually pick up my oldest daughter, especially, we would pick up the worm and throw them back onto the lawn so they could bury themselves. I mean, but even teaching about the fall and, oh, look at the berries that come from the tree. And so I was thinking, would I open up my mind to teaching again if I could just teach life?
Yeah, preschool. It's interesting. You know, it's an option for sure. It's something to go explore. Teaching a 1-year-old is very, very
No,
different than teaching a
no,
6 year
no.
old.
5 or 6 year
Yeah.
olds. Remember, they go 5 and 6. They
Okay.
start school at 7.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, but it wouldn't be teaching curriculum for a standardized test. It would be teaching how to survive in nature. And you know what I learned that they do in school here? They teach you skills to survive the cold. It totally makes sense. They teach you how to go out in nature and survive. And that's part of what they do in school. It's the responsibility so that every Norwegian, should they be lost in the forest, because they always go out, how could they get their food, their water, their resources, their shelter? That's part of what's embedded in their curriculum.
That's so
Like,
fun. Outdoor
what
ed
an
right there. Yeah.
outdoor ed, but like embedded all the time.
Yeah. Fun.
Ooh. So then I thought again, so what about this baby that I've been building with Cuba? And I thought, well, you know what? If I were just to show up, because they don't have a lot of preparation, because you're not doing standardized tests and feeling the pressure of passing to the next grade. They don't even give grades. If my job is to show up and be with children and hang outside with them and sing songs and read books, then perhaps I would be filled in my soul to continue when I have vacations to do the tours and teach the intellectual part and the passion that I have for Cuban history and culture. So maybe it doesn't have to be a one or the other. Plus, then I would have to come again. There's something for that.
Yeah. You're on to something, it sounds like.
Yeah. So I guess we're teachers still, Sue. It's just we lost it along the way. And you were
I
ready.
think I'm a I could embrace the term I'm a teacher only because I'm a learner and a grower.
Yeah,
And if you learn and you grow, then you have to share that with people, and that's what teaching is. So I'm a sharer. I share.
I like that.
All right.
Well, thanks for following along with me on this life's purpose.
No,
It's
this
been
is
fun.
fun. It's fun to watch and document it too, I'll tell you.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening. Now let's pack up this week's episode in the trunk.
Ride shotgun and be part of our adventures by clicking on the plus sign to subscribe and follow our show. This will help our ratings and, more importantly, inspire us to keep creating fun and engaging content. We would love to hear from you in the comment sections or email us at retiredpodcastnewtread@gmail.com. Use the fast track lane by sharing episodes with friends, family, and anyone who would like to join us on our road trip through retirement.
Be sure to check the show notes for links and contact information. Retired is chauffeured by Sue Britz and Tina Lokkbakk. It is produced, directed, and edited by me, Sue Britz. Music and graphics are by me too. Buckle up and tune in next week so that you won't miss your chance to join our retired road trip.